Welcome back, Bears fans. I'm Jerry with Dub Bears Talk, and obviously a heartbreaker. I'm not happy about the loss today. Uh, you know, it seems like when everybody does everything right, we never see this. We never. Oh, we have an opportunity to game-winning drive. Okay, we got to get down the field. What do? We get 46 yards within the goalpost. And who's one of the most accurate kickers in history with that under 50 yards? Cairo Santos, and it gets blocked. Now you could say it was BS with the whole, using the center for leverage, which they didn't use him for leverage, but they did contact him and to the point where he was pushed down, which you're not allowed to do. Of course, call doesn't go the Bears' way, and that's how the calls seem to go, in my opinion, with these Bears games. But I did want to talk about the positives of this game because I think maybe you're different from me, but I was going into this game thinking. I mean, if you watched my prediction video, my prediction was Packers win 84-9. I thought it was going to be very disappointing, and I was talking with my friends, and I said I'd rather have a just absolutely get blown out because I expect it, and like, okay, cool, what's new, or win the game because obviously a win would have been cool. Didn't really have much hope for that. Then the Bears play this new football somehow, and they're in the game, and it's close, and hearts racing. You're like, oh, we're gonna have a chance. Well, look, well, holy shit, he's moving the ball down the field. Look, quick passes and all this stuff, and then it ends how it is. So it sucks. But I wanted to talk about Thomas Brown and how I didn't think, and I even said in my video last week that I thought, don't overreact. Don't think that Shane Waldron's going to be gone and now everything's all better, because Thomas Brown's already been in the room. But I think this week shows that he did have some impact and it was positive. So I think for me, the biggest thing that I saw that was different from previous weeks is I felt like I saw, and maybe it's just me wanting to see this, but I felt like I saw more routes that were closer to give Caleb an option to dump it off, although he still does pass up on those. That's an improvement that's going to need to happen. But I think Caleb's biggest improvement in this game is I think that somewhere between I think the timing was a little bit better on certain throws, and he actually made some accurate throws downfield, which I thought was nice to see. But I think the biggest part was Caleb taking open running lanes. We were all, when we had Justin Fields, we were all very like, he has one, he goes to his first read and then he just runs with it. And we didn't like that because it wasn't enough keeping your eyes downfield and trying to make the throw and get it to one of your playmakers, because he is a playmaker. But then with Caleb, we almost got the polar opposite where he would just run around behind the line of scrimmage trying to do that, which is what we wanted, I think. But then he would miss out. There'd be 10 open yards ahead of him. That's a first down. Just kind of a case of him wanting to play hero ball, get the deep shot, get the big play, get the side arm or the on the run throw and stuff. And he just needs to simplify his game. And I think him taking these, because he's very oddly agile and hard to tackle. And I think that him taking these quick little runs and the open space in the field adds another element where if people start to respect him as a runner, he's going to see stuff open up downfield because they'll know he can run, and then he can just flip it over the top. So I think that was really good to see. And I think that's not only something that will help the Bears this year under Matt Eberflus and Thomas Brown, but under Caleb moving forward. And I think that that's just valuable. And at the end of the day, this is also just one game, so don't overreact too much. I'll say it again. Like I said it last week, it's a very small sample size at this point, but I think we can take these things from this small little sample size and find some positives. So I think another positive of the game is it seemed to me like the team was building up and they were like actually like happy, and it's so stupid to have to say that, but it seemed like they wanted it. And there's the comments that people have made about the receivers giving up on plays and that sort of stuff. And I think it was just great to see the Rome connection. Great game from Rome. I like seeing, I think the biggest, I keep saying this is the biggest positive, but I think I said biggest positive, Caleb. Let's go to of the offense, I think was running the ball. I think with Thomas Brown earlier in the week saying we want to emphasize having a balanced offense and getting the game started on the ground. He did that by doing what I think was the smartest move in giving Roshan Johnson more of an opportunity, because although he might not be as dynamic or as great all around of a back as DeAndre Swift, and he could be, hasn't had really enough of a chance in my opinion. He's a better power back, and he's better at when he finds the hole, he hits it and he runs through it and he falls forward. And when you can get a couple extra yards or even just an extra yard, that turns, a 3rd and 5 to a 3rd and 4. And all of it, it's a game of inches. So when you have a guy now on the field more who's going to put his head down and run, we weren't playing from behind the sticks as often. I think it was because there were more good designed run plays that were going to Roshan Johnson, and we were having these 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 4s and these shorter. I think there was the one where Caleb took a big sack, and then obviously it was like 3rd and 20 or whatever. But we end up converting because he gets a big completion to 4th and 3, and then they convert on 4th and 3. So it's one of those things where like we hadn't really seen that before, this whole converting on 3rd down thing. And I think Thomas Brown setting up the offense to be more oriented around these shorter, quick game plans, own the run game and then pass when you need to, throw with timing. I think all of it looked better. And I'm really hoping that it's not just, that Thomas Brown did have an influence, because I think if we're going to be moving forward with the team, I've always said that, as much as everybody wants to fire Matt Eberflus, you can also look at the other side of, we've done this where we draft a quarterback, they don't have him perfect in the first year, and then we dump him off, and then we hire somebody else to fix it, and then they can't fix it, so we draft another quarterback, and it's just been a back and forth. And I think so in a perfect world altogether, I think the perfect world is Eberflus is still around, Thomas Brown works out and keeps going. But if shit keeps going downhill, you're probably going to have to fire him. It just scares me that we're in, could be in this never ending loop of ruining quarterbacks and ruining head coaches. So I think the big positive that you can take away from this game is that the offense did look significantly different with Thomas Brown calling the plays and with whatever, scheme that he instilled. And there's a comment about Thomas Brown that he coaches very hard. And I think that could be the case. Maybe he commented on the wide receivers giving up on plays and stuff like that in certain scenarios. And I think that could be a huge part for the rest of the season. So let me know what you think down below of, this Bears-Packers game. Do you still want to fire Matt Eberflus? I think is one of the most important questions, because yes, a loss, but this game didn't really feel like a loss because we were actually in it in the end, and we were in it because of the offense. And although, getting a blocked field goal sucks, I think you can walk out of this game feeling a lot better than the Commanders game, because that was a blatant and obvious horrible call, of the defense. They didn't call a timeout. None of the players felt like they were ready. Huge problem. Whereas this one, there's an arguable penalty that wasn't called, and the Bears did what they could do to get into position to score, and the offense did that, and the defense did play well. Obviously, I think the two big plays that they missed on was on the big play to Christian Watson, where he gets the big catch, the diving catch, and then he has time to get up and run 40 more yards down, or 30 more yards, whatever it was, down the field. I think that was a big miss. Obviously, Jalen Johnson just kind of fell down on that play. And then early in the game, there was a 4th and 3 where the defense jumped off sides and gave them the first down. They end up getting points off of that drive. You can't let that happen. But yeah, I think overall, somehow we were able to have a Bears-Packers game where the Bears lost, but it was still a net positive in my opinion. I could just be coping. I could just be a Bears fan that's like, oh yeah, it's all going to be better. But I do think that this was a positive direction, because if you back out and look at the whole scheme of things, I think that this year we weren't going to win a Super Bowl. So if we aren't going to win a Super Bowl, the most important part is developing the quarterback. And it's only 1 week. He's going to have to keep doing it week in and week out. But I think this was at the very least a step in the right direction. And I thought it was very positive to see the differences in the offense. So let me know what you think down below. Again, thank you for watching, and bear down.